Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We have some unfortunate breaking news. Glover Teixeira's first light heavyweight title defense against Jiri Prochazka, which was originally scheduled to take place at UFC 274 in May, is now being pushed back to UFC's June pay-per-view, UFC 275. And there was no reasoning given. Apparently, Glover Teixeira discussed this in an interview with a Brazilian MMA outlet, and it's since been confirmed by ESPN. And I'm just really bummed about this. And I know there's no reasoning given. Maybe it's an injury, maybe it's not. I'm going to speculate on potential reasons towards the end of this video. But I just feel like this is constantly happening as of late. Just in recent memory, you had UFC 269 in December of last year, was supposed to be 3 title fights, and Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo got moved to the January pay-per-view UFC 270. And then also, this wasn't official, but it was being reported that the UFC was going to do Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane and make the co-main event Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2. Adesanya versus Whittaker 2 got moved to UFC 271. And I just missed the days where we got these stacked pay-per-views with multiple title fights. I mean, remember UFC 251? You had Piotr Jan versus Jose Aldo for the bantamweight title. You had Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski for the featherweight title. And you had Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal for the welterweight title. And I'm just tired of these fights. It seems like they're announced, and then all of a sudden UFC starts rescheduling. Just super disappointing. We were supposed to get Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka. Jiri Prochazka, one of the most exciting fighters on the roster. Then you had Glover Teixeira, who made a career resurgence, dominated Jan Blachowicz back at UFC 267. And then in the co-main event, you were getting an equally, if not more compelling matchup. You were getting Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje for the lightweight title. So you had 2 title fights. Honestly, in my opinion, both those title fights together was worth the price of the pay-per-view. And now, one's getting shifted over to UFC 275. It's just super disappointing. And, I don't know why the UFC is doing it. Maybe it's injury. Maybe it's a cut. Maybe one of these guys has a nagging injury. They just need a little bit of extra time, and that's why they're doing it. But I just think they probably needed a headliner for UFC 275. And maybe originally UFC 274, there was talks that was going to be in Brazil. Maybe now they decided they're going to have UFC 275 in Brazil, but they still need Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje at UFC 274 for the headliner. So what better headliner for UFC 275 if it is in Brazil than Glover Teixeira making his first light heavyweight title defense against Jiri Prochazka? That's my best guess. But honestly, it's just so disappointing to lose these 2 fights together. I was really looking forward to this event, and now we have to wait. I know it's only an extra month, but it's just, I love having a stacked fight card. And then on top of that, I hate to sit here and chronically complain, but you have Glover Teixeira, who won the title in October, late October. So if he doesn't fight till June, that's roughly 8 months. I don't think we should have champions sitting out for 8 months in between title defenses. That is just too long. And then meanwhile, you had Francis Ngannou, who won a title in March of last year. Oh, well, he didn't defend in the first 4 or 5 months in August, so they made an interim title. So I just really don't get them letting a champion sit out for 8 months. And I guess maybe Glover had injuries or whatever. He's, up there in age. I think he's 42 years old right now. But it's just really a bummer and a letdown. We already had the whole debacle with Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski 3 being moved from UFC 272 to UFC 273. We had the debacle of losing Piotr Jan versus Aljamain Sterling on UFC 272 as well. That was moved to UFC 273. And now we're kind of, UFC 274 was the event that a lot of people were really looking forward to and saying, oh my God, this is an amazing stacked pay-per-view fight card with 2 title fights. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm still super excited for Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. I just wish, we had Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka on that card. And also, I'm wondering, there's been a lot of talk. Everyone that I've pretty much talked to is more excited, myself included, more excited for Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. So I'm wondering if the UFC kind of felt that buzz. They said, you know what? Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje deserves to be a headliner. They didn't want to put Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka as the co-main because usually, outside of McGregor, they usually put the heavier weight class above that. There's been some instances where they didn't do that. They did that with Izzy versus Costa. They had Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes as co-main to that. So it's not all the time, but I was just wondering if people were more hyped for that Oliveira Gaethje fight. They said, let's put that as a headliner. will move Glover and Jiri over to UFC 275. That could be another reasoning. But overall, just super bummed out. Wanted to make a video and talk about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.